welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotze Ben and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And two good friends of ours, Tiago.
Yo.
And Rose.
Hi.
Dessy and I are the longtime fans, and Rose and Tiago are here today to graduate.
Wow.
You will
Hell
now
yeah, graduate
become
prosecutor
longtime
school.
fans.
I can kill people.
Yeah, you made it the whole way through. We hope that through both of our perspectives as we play through the series, as we have played through the series, it will reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for a series that is near and dear to us. Today, we have all played the fifth and final case of Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, the Resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. We did it.
We did it.
I played
done.
all of Ace
That's it.
Attorney,
Can I-
including
Literally played it
Professor
all.
Layton.
Can include. Well, first of all, I love Professor Layton. That's my friend.
Yeah, that was definitely actually one of my favorite ones.
That's a good one.
Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
Completely by accident, I played the last 2 hours of this game hungover.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
It added a tinge to what I will think afterwards. But I don't know if it's a positive or negative tinge.
You
but I
just
know
had an
there's a
experience.
I just had an experience where I was going through court and I was dying, and then my eyes hurt, so I put an ice pack over them and then kept running through court. I feel like one of those people who had to, well, it's completely my fault. So, it's on me.
Listeners, this isn't my fault, and I was not involved.
No, actually, straight up Rose wasn't. She wasn't there.
I was
I
at
got
work.
drunk on my own. We invited her.
I
To be
couldn't
totally
work.
fair,
I had
we were like,
work.
"Hey, come through."
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Sometimes work gets in the way of fun.
I
True.
need them to give me
Uh,
money so I can live in a home.
And buy alcohol.
Yeah, the two things that humans need.
Well,
Am I not human?
Huh?
you're human.
Yeah. Did any of
You
us
still have to
deny
live
it?
in a home.
I don't need alcohol.
Well, you don't have to drink it. You just have to buy it sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Surely that's
isopropyl
different
alcohol.
somehow.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that since the dawn of time, humans have loved inventing different ways to ferment beverages into alcohol,
Right.
and
Right,
also
right,
like
right.
This is true.
fry bread. Those are like really I think the two universal human experiences.
I think
I-
you're
I
right.
think-
Anyways,
I think you're right.
video game.
I think, yeah, I think bread's good. I'm just gonna, let's do 30 minutes
I'm
on
so
bread real
sorry. We're off to a great start.
I eat it.
quick.
We should go back to doing like the bit before we clap where we confuse ourselves.
We
Yeah.
had several bits before we clapped. We can't go back now.
We should just keep doing it.
Oh, okay.
It's true.
No, let's
they just didn't
talk
get
about
recorded.
the people have been waiting for so long.
Yeah, we finally got here. So yes, if y'all are ready, if you don't have any initial like top of the board thoughts here, I mean Tiago gave his
I did cry.
disclaimer, his condition.
I had a
Oh,
condition and I cried. Well, today I was sober and I did the epilogue, and that's when I cried.
Gotcha.
I have not cried.
Saying goodbye to all your friends.
I cry easier than Rose,
That's
Depending-
true.
depending on the situation.
All right. Well, as always, with these big cases, I'm going to do the summary in 2 chunks. So let's
Yippee!
get our
Okay.
first chunk
Well,
out of
you
the
know,
way.
actually, I do have something to
Oh.
say.
Sure.
Okay.
Because you mentioned 2 chunks. I do think we could have split this in half, actually. I think there was an opportunity to do so. Now, the 2 halves might have been a little on the shorter side.
Right.
But I think we definitely could have split this. There was a point where I said, this would be a good place to split this.
Yeah. That was my concern, was that we would end up basically just having 2 45-minute long episodes. Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
Well,
which
We
is why I
split
did
it.
not
We split it for the
it.
people.
No. Well, this is
So.
a big jumbo episode for everybody, I guess.
Yeah. So, as Ryunosuke and Susato prepare to head into court, Iris hands them a small bunny charm and says to pull on its ear if they're ever stuck and truly cornered. Is it about the bunny? No, it's not about the bunny. It's about resolve. In court, we find that male Strongheart has taken over the judge's seat, Despite this not being very cool of him, we're not much of in a place to protest this yet, so we push onward. Gina testifies to the court about Gregson's secret murder book in which he took notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy. He was headed to the SS Grouse, docked in Dunkirk for a mission, but it's yet impossible to prove that Gregson died there. However, Cosmo mentions Gregson's trunk, which he technically shouldn't have known about yet, making Ryunosuke very scared about what his friend might have done. Especially given the chunk of the sword is still embedded in the trunk. He presents this to the court, and Cosmo admits he went there with Gregson to assassinate a target, but he never went through with it and hasn't killed a soul. Gina reads off the target's name, Judge Jigoku. The court scrambles, desperate to find him and determine if he's still alive. Unable to find him anywhere, Ryunosuke pulls on the bunny's ear and discovers it's a two-way radio, allowing him to speak to someone on the other side. On the SS Grouse, the great detective Herlock Sholmes and his partner, Eugene Mikotoba, have reunited for the secret mission they left for during the previous episode, finding Jigoku. Yes, Sholmes had already figured out that this would be a problem and left for Dunkirk the night before with Mikotoba. Speaking to Ryunosuke over the radio, he promises that they'll find Jigoku. The two partners, and they were partners, complete a tap dance of deduction in which you do it all in the first go. No waiting to correct Sholmes because, of course, when he wants to be right the first time, he can be.
He could do that the entire fucking time.
Yeah, you just be right.
He could have just not. It could have just been not wrong.
Not.
Do you think he's fucking with us?
Yes!
He's been fucking with you the entire time for the past 2 games.
This Bugs Bunny motherfucker.
You were so really on the money when you said Bugs Bunny way back in game 1.
Yeah.
That you just didn't realize how right you were at the time.
I mean, God, Oracle of Delphi can be a man. Why not?
So, the two find Jigoku finding in his own massive suitcase and drag him back to court. He really doesn't want to go, though. Later that night, after returning, the whole crew pieces together their discovery of the worst exchange student program of all time. The British and Japanese empires were colluding to swap young assassins using their diplomatic immunity in opposite countries as a safeguard in case they were caught. Yes, Asashin and our boy, Cosmo, were each part of this exchange program. A telegram from Jigoku's office that Sholmes asked Hosonaga to steal, links the judge as being the Japanese half of this program. Who could be the evil mastermind on the British side? Also, Sholmes mentions that he's been wiretapping the British government for years. Anyway, back in court, Jigoku is now on the stand, and as Ryunosuke starts to read off the assassin exchange program details, he admits to it all. However, he says while he did partake in this program, Cosmo still obviously killed Gregson. We quickly counter this and link Jigoku to Gregson, and then point out the large refrigerator on the ship enabling him to fudge the time of death. Lastly, he carried Gregson's body out in his huge suitcase, which means Gregson was technically in the photo that we took in the hotel lobby. Lastly, he smuggled the body back to Fresno Street and planned to frame Daily Vigil, that poor guy, as the killer again. Getting Van Zeeks instead was just pure luck. Jigoku is convicted of killing Gregson, and he smashes the stand. Then Strongheart moves to end the trial. I think we'll pause kind of there, because then we kind of start to ramp back up again.
So, like...
But, yeah.
This was the part of the case that I did sober. It's also been a little bit since we recorded because the segment was kind of long and we all been kind of busy. So I'll do my very best to remember what I remember. Iris has created a radio system in which that if you pull in the bunny ears, the stuffed animal that Harley has will pull his ears and injure him. Now, does this mean that Iris has created animatronic technology? The ramifications of what the technology in this specific part of the game goes kind of wacky.
Yeah.
We can all agree.
It does. It does.
Yeah, she's inventing too much stuff.
We kind of jump. I don't want to say we jumped the shark, maybe, but like it's really a lot of like Deus Ex Machina type technology going on here.
In the 1890s.
I'm willing to believe that like the methodology, like the actual purpose of the devices that Iris has built for this part of the case can be done in a less flashier way and still get the intention across. Just like, I don't know, just having a regular fucking radio. Radio technology in Britain, did that even exist back then? Were there walkie-talkies in Britain? That's a lot to think about. But it doesn't matter. Because we find Jigoku, and we find out that he's the evilest Dilf of all. But, like, he was kind of pressured into it. But then there's, like, other things where it's like, Jigoku, you wanted to do that. I understand that...
Yeah, he seems like he's got a lot going on.
I understand that there's definitely a thumb on the scale from the British side. But
yeah.
I feel like at a certain point, Jigoku could have been like, I don't want to do this, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, I mean, the impression I got was that he's also, like, kind of bitter about what happened still. Like my buddy got, convicted of this
for
thing
nothing,
he didn't do. Like, he got put on trial for saying some rude things about the British government as well. Like,
yeah, but we find out. But I think that.
I mean, no, he's a motherfucker. But...
He's a motherfucker, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that Strongheart says explicitly is that, oh yeah, I noticed that Jigoku was ambitious and he wanted to move up the ladder, so I knew I could use that against him.
I manipulated that motherfucker.
Right, yeah. So,
I think...
once I saw that he wanted to be
Strongheart, what's
up...
your love language? Manipulation.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Manipulation, mansplain, manslaughter. Yeah. That is all of his
Manipulate,
traits.
mansplain, manslaughter?
Yeah. Can we not say that Strongheart does all three of those things?
He invented it.
He definitely does do those things.
Yeah. Jigoku... So here's the thing about Jigoku, is that he knew way back when we were tried against Asa Shin that, like, we didn't fucking do it. And he was just gonna let us take the fucking rap for that. Huh?
You're right.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he also just sort of was like, yeah, right. Like, he seemed weirdly fair in that case, so...
I feel like he was only fair in the sense that once we did a baller job of defending ourselves in court, he had to admit that, like...
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, whatever, this works.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he was completely okay with either outcome, because it's still not his fucking neck on the line there, it's Asa Shin.
Yeah, he probably didn't care for her either.
No. We also got a break here for a second where, like, Sherlock explains everything, like, why he lied about fucking our boy Kazuma, why he insisted that we become the lawyer things, because he read the message, because he was wiretapping the British government.
Yeah.
He's wiretapping the British government.
Normal things to do. Just like...
He mentions offhand that, like, he, like, the second he got Nicolina off the boat there, he, like, grabbed her by the shoulders, like, okay, by the way, that was all bullshit.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm gonna get you, like, asylum in the United States. You're gonna be fine. Like, I know you cried and you thought you killed a man, but you really didn't. So let's get you to the U.S. and it's all good, okay?
The funniest line is Naruhodo going, "We said some really mean things to her," and Sherlock was like, "Yeah, you did." I'm like, to be fair, it's not like those things.
She killed your best friend.
It's not like those things weren't deserved, but it's so funny to have, like, two people yell at you for 30 minutes, and then, like, you leave the room, and another guy goes, "You're good, homie." Like, you can go home.
It's really funny.
Or I'll even hook you up with an escape route.
Yeah.
Truly, like, a completely deserved roasting from two people, and then it's like, all right, well, here's some cake, and he gets to go home now. Well, you get to start a new life.
She gets cake and she gets to eat it.
True, and she's not responsible for that guy's death, even though
And she got
might
to
have
keep her
been.
cat.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
it was a cat, not a snake. Now I think it's a snake.
The sailor's the snailer. The sailor had the
Hurley's
snake. It was
affecting you.
The snake was the snailer.
Yeah, he's.
Snailer.
I think Sherlock Holmes is kind of like mold. He just kind of affects your brain.
Yeah.
So like he knew about the assassination plot. He specifically lied about Kazuma's death because he's like, if I fuck up the message, essentially, if I make it so that Kazuma doesn't reach London, then whatever this plan is happening won't go through. Haha, I'll have a random other person do it. And truly, Naruhodo was just here, man. Truly just showed up and was like,
Oops.
I'm not even supposed to be here. It's so funny.
Yep. Sholmes thought, this kid seems like he might make an all right attorney. Might as well give it a shot.
How
We have
hard
a
could
brief
lawyering
flash-
be?
Yeah, we have a brief flashback where Sholmes is like, "Do you remember who gave you the push?
It was
my
my idea.
I'm a
Oh.
mastermind." And it's like, you little shit.
I'm a mastermind. You just told me to do
Bastard.
it. I didn't have it was either this or I go back to Japan. I
just
fucking
been-
had to.
He's just been fucking around this whole goddamn time.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like the most. He's doing puppet master shit, but at the same time, it's all like, tee.
He's telling you
Puppet
about
Master
it
shit
to
if you
your
were-
face.
If you were stupid.
Yeah.
But the thing is like he's not
working.
stupid. He's got like he's like intelligent in a way, but also he's still fucking with us the whole time. Because obviously, if he wants to wiretap the British government, he can. He does it. No problem. He wants to unlock doors lickety split, no problem. He wants to instantly solve where somebody's hiding in a room.
still-
He does it, no
my-
problem, right?
Motherfucker.
I still feel like
No way, Rose.
he's a former criminal, but it's not getting covered.
Alright, Rose, hear me out.
Like,
I got,
Well,
you know what though? I got to be right. You got to be right. We don't have to fight with each other.
When was
yeah,
I
you
right?
each got a big prediction right from
Mhm.
last time.
I
Rose got
remember
the-
when.
Rose got the biggest prediction right. I don't remember my
The number of
prediction.
times we turned around and looked at each other when you guys were predicting stuff.
But you did predict that Iris was part vampire, and you were correct.
I mean, it was just a matter of elimination. Like
She had to
I
be
simply
somebody's kid.
like I simply did the math and looked around and went, all right, who was important 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's not Japanese, so fucking
It's got to be one of these white people.
yeah, it's gotta be one of them.
Yep.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Process of elimination.
So Jigoku evil. We got to be
Evil, but
Watson.
like complicated.
Yeah. You got to play as Mikotoba,
Yeah,
which is fun.
as Sherlock's
this is-
friend.
Cute.
This is a really fun segment, I think, personally.
I had
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
'Cause it's kind of you get to see a slightly. It's still Sholmes being a shit, but
Mhm.
it's a slightly different side of him, right? And I really just love all the animations and the banter between the two of them, as like Mikotoba is tap dancing. And
yeah.
you get the unique music like for this segment. It's like totally different Dance of Deduction music. It is technically like all the previous Dance of Deduction musics that have played. This is like and a slightly new twist on that, and it's fuller and it has like the whole orchestra behind it. So we've been
Yeah.
layering all these different instruments on for every single Dance of Deduction the whole time. And then you finally get to hear, quote unquote, the real final, like true Dance of Deduction the partners. The game is afoot, song, which is of course the original two, whom, came up with it all, right?
Yeah. I just thought about this for a second. That means fucking Sherlock Holmes definitely knew it was a time bomb in that other case, huh? He let us
Yeah,
fuck
he's
around.
just fuck.
Every single other Dance of Deduction where he says the most insane shit, he's just, again, it is the most.
He's just fucking with us.
He's fucking with you every single time.
What
He's
a
like, no, wouldn't it be
bastard.
crazy if gravity got inverted here? That's probably what's happening.
I want it to be
And-
true, so let me just make up some shit.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I don't know what a bomb is. I was at risk and I didn't even know it. That's not fair. Okay, that's fine. Mikitoba
playing through it a second time. I'm sorry to interrupt, but like just playing through it a second time and getting to see all these dances from that perspective and knowing that he's just literally lying his ass off the entire time.
He's literally just doing improv.
Yeah.
Like he's using us as his fucking improv practice class. What a bitch.
Oh my god.
It's so good. It's
And
so good.
to his partner's daughter, no less.
He's his partner's daughter, which we definitely have an argument about. So like Mikitoba, they do the dance of deduction. I think there's a specific line that I really enjoy, which is like Sherlock Holmes is radioing in from the boat in which that Jigoku is hiding, and he's like, and Naruto's like, "Oh my god, how do you know to reach the boat?" And he simply just goes, "You know my name. I'm the great Sherlock Holmes." And Mikitoba goes, "I'm the one who found out." And Sherlock goes, "Yeah, I didn't say that I found out. I simply said what was my name." And
Shit.
I was like, "Come on, dude. Come on."
He's such a dick. It's great.
He just loves pranking.
Why are you friends with him, Professor?
To be fair, I do think that this is probably my favorite interpretation of Sherlock Holmes, considering that like the three that I can think of off the top of my head are Robert Downey Jr.'s, Benedict Cumberbatch, and then the Great Mouse Detective. Those are the three Sherlocks that I know, and I think this is my favorite so far.
Some of those are good.
Yeah, I love Basil the mouse. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a great fucking
I don't
Sherlock.
particularly hate the Robert Downey Jr. one.
I'm actually quite fond of the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes.
No, I know. It's just that, like, I think the more
Discombobulate?
cartoonier Sherlock Holmes is, the more I like him. Like, this is, like, the most cartoony he's been because he's Bugs Bunny. It's kind of interesting because...
Not the mouse!
No, not the mouse. That's different. The mouse was serious. Because, like, if you think... I'm gonna go on a little tangent here because I'm thinking about Sherlock Holmes. If you think about it, both Susato and Sherlock Holmes kind of fulfill the role of the Maya Fey, whereas we have an assistant that like helps us through court, but we also have like a fun little sidekick that we do gaffes with. And it's interesting to see the Maya Fey archetype be split into two and have them be their own like fully rounded characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting to me. I also thought it was super interesting that we never had Sherlock Holmes be part of the sidekick compendium because he
was just always
sidekick.
there and then gone.
Yeah, like Iris shows up here, Susato shows up here, Mikitoba showed up for Susato, but like we never got Sherlock Holmes to be our sidekick, and I was like, damn.
He never really. The closest he's come to actually helping us in court is periodically showing up to drop off evidence. Exactly,
because he's like the Gumshoe-esque character. But like, I just think it's so interesting to me that like, you know, the named character over here never gets to be behind the stand. Remember when Professor Layton was behind the stand with us and it was sick?
Yeah, that was cool. He's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, Professor Layton's so cool. He's got an 8-pack.
He is. Cool. One thing I can finally say here now that I was hesitant to bring up this reference beforehand in case it tipped the hand of the game is that Takumi has said that one of his favorite interpretations of Sherlock Holmes is Robert L. Fish's parody of Sherlock Holmes, which is the incredible Schlock Holmes.
Ooh. I should watch that.
So this is a book. It was 12 short stories that Robert Fish wrote, and I guess they're all parodies of existing like Sherlock Holmes stories and that sort of thing. And apparently this made a very strong impression on Takumi. He read it. My understanding is, he read regular Sherlock Holmes first and then found this, and enjoyed it quite a bit.
I mean,
it's
hard to enjoy a parody if you haven't read the original first.
Right.
It's possible, trust me, but...
Yes. We've all done it at some point. We've all listened to a Weird Al song before hearing the original.
Yes,
I still haven't read Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. So, but, so I just... Once you know that, like, a parody made a big impression on Takumi, it helps click some of the behavior of Sholmes, into place.
I mean, I feel like you could have told us that at some
bastard.
point, because, like, he's very obviously a fucking freakazoid.
Yes.
He does that anime smiling thing where he closes his eyes and both of his eyes are like the half circle pointed upward, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's already kind of a goofster and a prankster. And he doesn't drink, but that's because he could not drink in front of Iris. That'd be fucked up.
His daughter.
His daughter.
His daughter.
We do talk.
His
Okay, so
daughter.
let me be perfectly clear. We talk about Iris's parentage for a little bit, and then Mikitoba drops the ball. That's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not her daddy. Let's be real.
We could kind of tell, but
But then Iris is like, it would have been cool if Professor Mickey was my papa. We could have been half sisters, Susie. And she goes, we can still be half sisters. I don't know, man. Then they hug, and they're like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Good for them.
and then
It's cute.
she's
Good
like,
for
and you
them.
can be my
Good for
brother, and
them.
we're like, yeah, that would be great, actually. Thank you.
Thank you. Yippee.
Thank you. I'm very honored.
I'm very honored. I can't remember anything else about this segment of the case because it's the next segment that held all my attention.
Right.
Jigoku was a real motherfucker on the stand. He definitely employs Shut the Fuck Up Friday.
Mhm.
He's such a dilf though. It's so sad.
Rose, you
I
have
know.
no-
I'm
Hey,
shaking your hand, Rose.
Honestly,
It's okay.
I remember
I
playing.
like
I
an
remember
evil
Ben
dilf.
playing through this the first time. I was like, oh man.
I thought
I like
Jigoku was
an
my
evil
friend.
dilf.
It's kind of interesting to see the original trio from like 10 years ago, Genshin, Mikotoba, and Jigoku, and see what happens to the three of them, which is one of them dies, one of them gets arrested for court, and the other one's fine.
The other one's doing
The
all
other
right.
one's just like kind of a normal dad.
Because, like, Mikotoba's, in my head, the way that I view it is that, Genshin is a parallel to, Kazuma, you know, death. Kazuma sort of died on that fucking boat. Jigoku is, I guess, well, no, Mikotoba is definitely a parallel to Susato because they have, like, similar paths, but, like, it's Ryunosuke who's, like, the weird odd one out because he's not really a parallel to Jigoku except for the fact that, like, I don't know, I guess both of them got accused for murder, except Ryunosuke didn't do it. And, Jigoku
Maybe part
definitely
of
did do
that.
it.
The reason that is because he's his own character and he has to grow and
I
he
did enjoy.
breaks the mold.
No, I like that, but, like, I like parallels. I like rhyming. I like fucking...
I mean,
Well,
the
no,
real-
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that the reason everybody has a parallel except for Ryunosuke because he has to break the mold in order to solve the whole thing.
Exactly. He's his own.
Mm.
And if you
Sometimes
wanna-
something different has to happen in order to change the cycle.
Yeah, I think the biggest parallel you could pull if you wanted to do that read, which I think you could do that read between Jigoku and Ryunosuke, is that Jigoku lets himself become absorbed by the system, right? And he lets himself become, corrupted and molded by it. And Ryunosuke instead has the resolve to break the system and push beyond it, right? So like they both end up at a split,
Mhm.
and Jigoku takes the wrong path, right? And Ryunosuke eventually takes the correct path.
I was also very delighted because, and we get this immediately because when Strongheart is acting as the judge, that was exciting. But I also, even before, when we get, and then after when we get Judge Jigoku on the stand, I'm like, we haven't had an evil judge yet.
Right.
We have not accused the judge of murder yet.
We get to accuse two judges.
And now we get to do it twice?
Yep.
We have not had an a real antagonistic judge before.
The last time we had a sort of antagonistic judge would have been Courtney from Investigations, but she's not even like a real judge or whatever.
We're
Well,
always
she is
outside
a
of the
real judge,
courtroom.
but we don't have to do court with her.
Well,
really.
that's true. We just debated her, like in Reddit on Reddit.
Yeah, on Reddit.
Like on Reddit.
Yeah.
We've never
We had
had.
debate,
We've had
we had debate club with Courtney.
the closest thing we've had is Canadian judge,
He wasn't evil.
and he wasn't evil. He was just Canadian.
He was just Canadian. Yeah,
Honestly,
He's just
right
better
now, I mean,
better
he
at
might
hockey
be good.
than us. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Canada.
Maple
really-
syrup
Yeah.
mafia. I hear you. I see you out there. I know.
Oh my god, I could some real fucking maple syrup.
we get Jigoku and he breaks down and he breaks the fucking stand again using
yeah.
a quarter circle combo. And
That's
then
good.
they replace it. They just get a fucking
Immediately.
like
They
immediately.
have another one. They just wheel it out.
They saw him and they were like, "Oh, here comes this guy. Get the backup stand ready. Get the backup stand ready."
Strongheart just call the court horse in. Make sure it's
The court
driving
horse,
the-
yeah.
Make sure it brings in the stand.
Oh, I bet
Yeah,
you guys
it
didn't
pulls
think
it
we
in
were
like a
bringing back
cart.
the court horse, huh?
So like, Ryunosuke says a line in between this segment and the next segment where he's like, "And now it's to dive straight into the heart of this maelstrom," which makes me think
groaned out loud.
because okay, but like, does that mean male Strongheart's supposed to be a maelstrom? Is that
Yes.
Yes, that's the
No,
pun. That's the
That's
pun.
his name.
then how come he's not Strumheart? Why is he Strongheart?
I don't know.
Yeah, his Japanese name is, if you want to know, Heart Vortex.
Wait, that's way funnier.
Sick.
Why does he have a Gundam name?
Yeah, he's got a Gundam
He's
name
not cool
instead.
enough for that.
So yeah,
I mean, he kind of looks like someone who
they're
would pilot
clearly
a
trying
mech.
to do the storm. You know, like the vortex thing kind of goes with how his hair like gets more disheveled later and looks kind of spirally, right?
Yeah, I didn't get that
Um,
until Ryunosuke literally said that line, and I was like, oh yeah, his hair kind of looks like wind. I thought he was just supposed to
Right.
be like a strong guy. I don't know.
Well, he does have
But
that
yeah.
sort of unicorn motif with his gavel as like that unicorn.
Yeah, but like, what does that have to
And
do
his
with being
hair stick-
strong?
I don't know. I thought it had more to do with being British, if I'm honest.
Why? Well, like the British involve unicorns?
There's the lion and the unicorn thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe you.
If they're asking for why the unicorn motif, my only note that I have here is according to the Ace Attorney wiki, they claim here the unicorn was chosen due to being a highly intelligent creature that shares the United Kingdom's royal coat of arms with the lion.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
How come we just?
That is basically it,
How come we didn't do the lion?
as Rose said.
If for example, Boston listeners and Tiago, if you head down
Por
to the old
ejemplo.
State House and you look at the two creatures that are up on the roof, it's the lion and a unicorn because those were the like symbol of the United Kingdom.
I have no idea what building you're talking about.
The State House.
Which one's the State House?
Well, I can't help
I
you.
can't
I'm not
here.
laughing
I-
because I don't know
Rose,
either.
we
but
should
you can,
go
you
find.
can just
we'll,
Google
we'll,
it.
We'll go find it later.
Yeah. Yeah, we
field trip.
will.
What?
Going
Do
on
you,
a field trip. Yay!
do you not want to go to the State House?
Yeah, we can go to the State House.
Is there a bar near there?
Yeah.
Okay, well then there we go. We're good.
Yeah. You know what? This is funny, is because you were like 2 blocks from it yesterday.
Oh, we were in Boston and there was like a snowboarding convention. It was very strange. I don't know why there was a snowboarding event going on, but there was like a Red Bull sponsored snowboarding event when we went to the bar yesterday.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I was just like,
Yeah.
we couldn't take the green line because the green line was off because of all the snowboarders.
The green line's off for track work.
No, because of the snowboarders. We should move on.
All right. I guess we've solved that one. Okay.
The game was
DMing
afoot.
Tiago Wikipedia article.
Are you DMing me right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read it.
We can carry on.
Time to
I'm
learn.
just
Time to learn.
Holy shit, Ben put in an image live Gregson reaction. He's not live in that image, Ben.
Unalive Gregson reaction.
I
Yes.
don't love Gregson.
Unalive
We're
Gregson
doing
reaction. Him
great.
in that trunk. It's great.
I
It's funny.
we really do get to determine that the whole thing that Jigoku did was kill. Rose sent me a Wikipedia article. Is that Jigoku killed him on the boat, shoved him in the trunk, and simply just plopped him down at the fucking house waiting for daily vigil.
and he carried that trunk around
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
shredded.
Like a whole
stone
day.
fucking cold, just like, all right, I killed this British guy.
Like the first time that we meet Jigoku in like in that hotel lobby, right? Again,
Mm-hmm.
he's got a dead body like 10 feet away, like
Yeah,
right
in
there.
his bag.
This house, Rose. Yeah, that's the house in Fallout 4.
You know what? I really should have put
Should
it
have
in
brought
that
it back
context.
to Fallout.
I should have.
mean,
You were so
Su-
right.
Super mutants are by this location, Rose.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Hot super mutants near you.
Dude, I gotta
Looking
go.
for relationships.
Yeah. Come down to the fucking Sam Adams tap room.
The reason Jigoku goes through with this entire assassination plot is because Asogi was supposed to do it, but then Asogi got clunked on the head on the boat. So I call him Asogi even though he's Cosmo, but I feel like I use the term interchangeably. So Jigoku...
No, he refuses, right? Remember, he went there and refuses to kill as he was directed, right? And then he threatens Gregson, and this is where he, basically shakes Gregson down for some information, which we'll get into in a moment.
Yeah, Sogi shakes down
the
Gregson.
Crux of the next segment, yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, there's a bit of also, we didn't quite talk about it a ton here, but like, this is also some of the setup with like Ryunosuke like being like, damn, what did my fucking friend do? What did my boy Cosmo do? What are you some kind of a crazy assassin boy? What's going on here? And I both really like, and at times I have, it's a little bit of a stretch, with the whole bit with Cosmo being like, yeah, I was there on the boat. And yeah, I took the assassination mission, but I didn't kill anybody. I didn't kill anybody. And you're like, well, maybe you shouldn't be the prosecutor here, buddy.
Van
and Strongheart's
Zeke's
just like, yeah, no, it's fine.
Absolutely tragic worst person, makes a good point. Van Zeke straight up is like, hey, this is conflict of interest. He cannot be the prosecutor. This is outrageous. This is, at best, I require a retrial. At worst, this is a complete mistrial.
Yeah, but it turns out Asogi said in between the intermission, he was like, oh yeah, I told Strongheart that I would admit to anything and accept my punishment afterwards. We just really need a prosecutor for this one. It'd be really hard to sub me out at this point. And Strongheart goes, it is actually pretty hard to sub him out. We've only got 2 prosecutors, apparently.
Yeah, well, Strongheart wants to make sure that Van Ziggs gets convicted so that nothing comes back to him.
Yes. So yes, we have to go through a few hoops, and it is structurally a little bit of a contrivance, right? To keep the number of characters like, okay, well, we just got to keep going with these characters that we already have, right? But yes, we try to make it make sense with Strongheart's corruption as well. Is like, well, yeah, he wants to wrap this shit up ASAP. So rather than swap out a new prosecutor and take extra time, let's just quick get this done. It's okay.
Yeah,
we'll get Cosmo later.
We'll get Cosmo after this, but as of right now, we're going to we're just gonna keep going. Fuck it, we ball. We can't leave now.
British lobby like.
And all this, Cosmo's desperately trying to convict Van Zeeks because he's the Reaper of the Bailey and the person responsible for getting his father executed as the professor. And we all know deep down, if Cosmo thinks that he's the Reaper so badly, A, it's probably not him, because that's just how storytelling goes. And B, Genshin Asogi was definitely fucking innocent. And so we're gonna have to prove that later.
He did kill one person, as I predicted.
Yeah, but
everything is falling into place perfectly for me, Rose.
We should get into the next part to get part into that prediction.
I'm a genius.
It was so hard to keep my composure during last recording. When you just laid it all out.
I knew I was
right.
Like, I knew.
Damn.
She simply just wanted to here's what happened.
Yeah, here's the plot.
Yeah,
it was definitely to the point where I was tempted to be like, you didn't see anything online, did you, Rose?
I swear, I've got my hand up. I'm trying to think of what I could swear with. I'm defaulting to the like Girl Scout salute because that is a deeply, I don't know, that's ingrained in me. I swear, I looked up nothing. I got that.
Yeah.
I just knew.
I believe it.
Because this case had a lot of, similar to like Cosmo saying like, oh, I was on the boat, but I didn't say I wasn't not on the boat or whatever. There's a lot of like little wordplay of people saying like
I
for
didn't
example,
actually
there's
say
something
that.
that happens later where somebody says, oh, this is a something, but I didn't say it was
Mhm.
mine.
Exactly.
You know, and like a lot
Some
of
really
wordplay like
clever
that.
wordplay. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like that one, and they don't bring it up again, but that one scene where he talks to like Mr. Vigil or whatever, and he says, Mr. Vigil's like, oh, did you do it? And he's like, I'm guilty of taking human life or whatever. And I was like, that's really vague, but also really specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ace Attorney logic.
Yeah.
So, Cosma insists that the trial cannot be over yet, as Van Zieks could still be guilty of being the Reaper. Cosma says that Gregson mentioned that Clint's autopsy was modified in some way. After some testimony from Van Zieks, we remember that there is somebody who could testify about 10 years ago. Professor Mikatoba. He helped on Clint's autopsy. Strongheart says, no, trial over, but Sholmes appears and shames him into continuing things. So we drag Eugen in next. Mikatoba arrives on the stand along with Maria Gori, who is staring bullets at him. Mikatoba testifies that the piece of critical evidence damning Genshin was his ring, found inside Clint's stomach. But he never saw the exact moment of the ring's removal, so it was impossible for him to say if the ring's placement was genuine or not. Maria reveals that she brought the exact ring from the evidence storage locker today and shows it to the court.
Goat.
Yeah,
She's
Maria's
the
pretty
goat.
sick.
It's very
love her.
spiky. Yeah, it's very spiky and sharp, but no internal lacerations were found. Strong's heart says, oh well, trial over, again, because Genshin accepted his fate, because he was guilty, obviously. But Cosmo says there's another reason why. Obviously, he had that escape plan. So we drag Governor Caden and Daily Vigil onto the stand next. Those two get pretty goofy on the stand, but they let us dive into the topic of the Asogi papers, and we learn that Genshin had some kind of leverage that let him enact this escape plan in the first place. This was a will, written in scarlet ink, Daily mentions. But Ryunosuke remembers that Clint's autopsy listed that he had red ink on his hands. Could Genshin have been in possession of Clint's final will and not his own? Yes. Because, as was correctly predicted last time by Rose,
Ah.
Clint was actually the professor, not Genshin. Genshin figured this out, however, and forced Clint to write the confession before killing him in a duel. Barak is in shock as his whole world comes crashing down around him, but he does remember. Oh yeah, now it makes sense why Clint had a big-ass evil hunting dog named Balmung.
That's the most
I
evil
mean-
sounding fucking dog I've ever heard in my life.
It was normal for the British aristocracy to have a big ass evil hunting hound. However, you can't be calling it something like that. That's too spooky.
With this shocking secret out in the open, Strongheart reveals that one time Genshin came to him and said, you know, Clint has a big-ass evil hunting dog named Balmung. Maybe you should investigate him as the professor. But Strongheart said, nah. After Genshin did the whole will and duel to the death thing, he hid the will, and Strongheart couldn't find it. He directed Gregson to steal Genshin's ring and plant it in Clint's corpse to frame Genshin and preserve the sanctity of the British aristocracy/judicial system. Strongheart says, anyway, trial over, again, and pledges to keep this a secret from the Queen so that the rule of law can be kept. Also, you can't find Clint's will, so we can't really prove this. The judiciary members in the gallery all murmur agreement to this sentiment, but Ryunosuke realizes the perfect place to hide the will, inside Genshin's sword hilt. It's been with them all along. Inside is the rolled-up will, and they begin to read out the confession to everyone. In it, Clint admits to being the professor, and in the final line says, to my extortioner, male Strongheart, may you feel the jaws of the beast at your throat every time you swallow. Yup, of course, you guessed it, in the end, the real villain was Strongheart, manipulating Clint to kill his enemies in the upper echelons. He also convinced Jigoku to shoot Genshin when he crawled out of the cemetery during his jailbreak attempt. He, of course, also ran the Reaper operation, and he started the Assassin Exchange program. It was all him. But of course, this is a closed trial, and he's the highest ranking official here, so trial over. But what about the bunny? Ryunosuke tugs on the bunny's ears again, and Sholmes responds in turn, but this time he appears in court as a fucking hologram. And not only that, a two-way radio hologram device is also sitting on the table, where Iris is having a delightful cup of tea with Vicky. Vicky who? Oh, Queen Victoria. She's been watching the trial the whole time, and she has some opinions on how Strongheart has been handling things. Shattered and broken, Strongheart explodes
Literally.
and admits to everything in detail.
Rare Queen Victoria W.
I
God save the fucking queen, I guess.
I have feelings about Queen Victoria showing up, but
Well, she
She
doesn't.
doesn't even show up. She's just mentioned.
I have feelings about Queen Victoria being used as the trump card.
No, I think I have your same feelings, Tiago. The original judge shows up, and Van Zieks is finally acquitted officially. After court, Susato and Ryunosuke speak to Mikotoba and Sholmes and piece together the last secret. Who are Iris's parents? Well, Mikotoba admits he did deliver the child as Genshin requested, but her mother was Lady Baskerville, and her father was dun-dun-dun, Clint Van Zieks.
Yeah,
Tiago gets to be right.
Congrats, Tiago.
I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember making this prediction.
That's okay, I do.
Okay, I'm glad
I
that-
do.
I remember, I said a lot of shit, dude. I talk a lot during these fucking episodes.
Sure do.
I simply just say shit and half of it's right.
They all agree to not tell her, but I suspect she'll figure it out eventually. However, she does happily accept Sholmes as her adoptive father and begins calling him Dad.
No.
She calls him Daddy, yes.
Yes. There you go.
Ryunosuke and Susato agree that they're going to return to Japan to improve the legal system there. And Cosma pledges to continue being a prosecutor here in London. Van Zieks kind of warms up to everybody a bit as well.
Racism cured.
I have some feelings
I
about that
don't
as well.
know. He's still a bit of a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's still prickly. He's
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 objectively
we
shitty.
get him the nicest that he's been so
He
far.
apologized to us, and it did look
He
like
did.
it kind of
Did
hurt
you-
him to do it,
are
so
you-
I do feel
Are
good
you
about
telling me
that.
you didn't regret your words and deeds?
Okay, so here's the thing: is that like, did you finish the recap, Ben? Because I want to go on a spiel here.
I'm almost done.
Yeah,
I'm almost
my
done.
apologies. My apologies, sir.
Almost done. Gina skips out on being a cop.
Thank God.
Almost. But
Fuck!
decides to be
So
an
close,
an
Gina.
inspector still.
She should have just been a private dick. It's way much cooler.
Yeah. At the harbor, everyone bids farewell. Ryunosuke and Cosmo cross swords, and they all promise to meet up again someday. And who knows? We never know where our paths may lead. The end.
We did
There
it!
We did it. We are officially caught up on every Ace Attorney game.
Capcom! Get
okay,
on
Balls
it.
in your court.
Balls on your court. Wait.
We've got a lot. I know.
I don't like Van Zieks' apology. As far as I'm concerned, he should be on his hands and knees fucking begging for forgiveness. And he just straight up goes, "It was wrong of me to make assumptions about the Japanese. My apologies." And then we're all just supposed to be like, okay.
I'm so glad
Well-
he learned a lesson.
I don't think that... I think that there
Not
are
done.
characters who can be redeemed. Like, I absolutely do think that, like, characters can do awful things, but still, like, if they earnestly seek forgiveness, they can redeem themselves in some way or another. I just feel like my man just, signed a piece of paper saying, "I'm officially sorry," and slipped it in. Like, that's it.
He's not quite there yet. And
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of okay with that. Not like
Mm.
in that I think he's like a good person and is redeemed, but in the sense that like I think it would have been worse if he just like magically was cured of racism.
No, I don't want him.
We put enough like good deed tokens into him or whatever.
No, I want to be perfectly clear. I simply don't think that his apology was enough. I don't think either way.
I agree, but I'm like kind of okay with that. Like at the end too, like you talked, he and Cosmo talk, and Cosmo's like, "I don't forgive you," and he's like, "That's fine."
Yeah, that's fair. That's so
like,
fair.
That felt like
that to me, that conversation I think was actually the conversation that made me feel good about where Van Zieks' arc landed. I did.
I feel like his arc isn't finished, and that's fine. Maybe he'll get mad, or maybe he won't. We'll see.
Like, I started to formulate this thought a little bit when we were recording the Let's Play, and when I read that dialogue, and I kind of like that Van Zieks gets a bit better than he was, but he does not get all the way there. Like, he improves. Like, if he was as his shitty self, from the start of the game, he improves by maybe 30 to 40%, like he makes a noticeable improvement. He does apologize to us for the first time. I like Rose said, I really love that conversation between him and Cosmo, in which, Cosmo just says, "I don't forgive you." And Van Zieks is like, "That's fair."
I wouldn't
It's
forgive
actually
me
totally
either.
understandable that you would not forgive me. Hopefully, and they kind of just like but they still agree to like continue working together,
Yeah, Cosmo's like, I'm coming with you though.
So it still kind of sets up this like there is still going to be some slow progress with Van Zieks over time. And if we came back to Van Zieks, 5 years from now, we might see, more improvement. But I think that I'm okay with where the game leaves it, in that, he has some improvement. He has his arc, and it's not like a complete resolution of his racism necessarily. He's still got a lot of internalized racism and stuff that he just does instinctively. And he's improving on it, but he's not there yet. His arc as a character, though, for other things that have gone on in his life has resolved, right? And I think that it's kind of, I'm very okay with basically them setting it up as like, and you get to see that trail off, right? Maybe he will continue to improve, kind of thing. He's started the process, right?
I hear you. I'm someone who just wanted more of an apology from him, because I don't know. I feel like he really did just like hand in that apology and then moved on.
Barely a slap on her wrist, yeah.
That being said, he does like make a lot of points to be like, I now have to work against the moniker of the Rape of the Bailey. All this is going to be publicized, including the fact that my brother was the professor, and therefore I have to, help rebuild the trust in the British legal system, which like shouldn't be trusted at all, IMHO, but that's not the point here.
Well, they just come up with it, so I understand why they wanted to try and see if it was possible.
Yeah, exactly. I do care for her. Like, I actually think that Von Zieks finding out that his brother is the professor is a sick twist for his arc. And I do love that for him.
They finally came up with something that could make him interesting for me.
But the problem is, I just feel like we're like deep on the 11th hour, and like I
feel like we didn't get to know him, and again, it was hard because he was being really racist to us, and like he wouldn't like come out and hang out with us and investigate.
I still don't know if he's going to be invited to the prosecutor fucking dinner after this. We're all going to Applebee's, and I don't know if
he's got to he's got to take a test still to see if he can be not racist before he gets invited.
Yeah, I need you to do more sensitivity training.
I feel like he needed like 2 or 3 more like out in the world meetups before we defended him as a client, and instead we only got the one. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
so I feel like a little bit more of that would have helped create the ramp feel a bit smoother. But I'm okay with like the final place that we land, right?
I guess I'm okay with it.
I'm not okay with it. I understand where you're coming from, like emotionally, Tiago. Like, it wasn't the best apology. It was kind of
right. No,
it was kind of mediocre.
It was kind of shit.
But like, so from the emotional, like, I'm the protagonist, I'm Runosuke, I'm like, well, that could have been better. But as like a reader of a story, I'm like, this is better, I guess. Or this is at least, like, has realism to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I kind of like when a story's not super pat in the ending, and Ace Attorney endings are often very pat, right? In the way that everybody kind of ends up being cool with each other in the end. You know, aside from if you're, you know, I don't know,
Unless you're
really
the bad
evil,
guy.
right? Or you have to go to prison. But you know, but we often end up, yes, in situations where, well, all the bad guys were, you know, all the ones that are like cool enough are like, we're cool with them. Like whatever they did, it's fine.
They'll go to jail for
Or
a
they
little
didn't
bit.
really do what they thought, you know, like in the case of Black Quill or something like that, right?
Speaking of bad characters, we should talk about Male Strongheart, the bad guy for this section.
Fun that we've got a killer who never actually did any killing. Although, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure I believe him.
Here's
He's
my
like,
thing.
I got Jigoko to do it. I'm like, I don't know, man. Did you?
I actually straight up believe that he is the type of person who would never get his hands dirty, only for this like sole reason that I don't know, he's checking his watch constantly. He doesn't have time to get his hands dirty.
I just think that if you were gonna kill somebody to clear up that whole snafu, the obvious person to kill was this random grave robbing med student who suddenly appeared.
Yeah.
You kill him, you take Genshin out, you drop this med student's body in.
No, because then Jigoku and Genshin would remember the death of Enoch Drebber, and that would bite him 10 years ago.
And they would be fine with it.
Would they?
Yeah, they wouldn't give a shit.
Genshin would.
Genshin would be upset, yeah.
Genshin's
I think Genshin.
Jigoku's super chill with it.
Dying anyway in this situation.
Like in that sscenario, Genshin gets shot anyway because he'd be like, "What the fuck? You just killed an innocent person." And fucking Maelstrom would be like, Jigoku, shoot him too! Shoot Genshin! Shoot him now!
Yeah,
I'm just saying. If I'm pulling the trigger in that situation,
there should have been a bullet in Drebber's body as well.
I would have
Strongheart
chosen
was really trying to tie up loose ends.
Yeah, I would have chosen to kill this random grave robbing med student over my friend, who I could conspired to, one, create my own career, and two, save his life.
I hear you, but like we gotta remember that Jigoku loves ambition. He's a big ambition guy. You know, Jigoku turned out to be a greedy little boy who just wanted to get more.
I've been told that, yes. By Strongheart and no one else.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. The only one who was on the up and up was Mikotoba.
He didn't know they hid it from him.
And he's really good at tap dancing.
He's really good.
That was really crazy for me.
It's hard.
I saw that happening and I got like dizzy. I was like, what's going on?
It's hard to corrupt a guy who's so like clinically near Sherlock Holmes. Like,
that's true. You wouldn't dare.
You get inside his fucking AoE damage, and then all of a sudden everything starts turning wacky. And it's like, alright, I actually can't corrupt that dude. That dude, if I try, I might end up in a fucking case. I can't handle that. So fucking funny. I think Strongheart masterminded everything. He put all his fingers on the scales in order to clean up his business from 10 years ago. He did all this to become the Attorney General, and he did it all in the name of justice, but in actuality, he's just the ambitious little freak. The judge was in the stands the entire time. Does that include the part where Strongheart was like, hey, ladies and gentlemen of the judiciary, I admit to everything, all that manipulation, but I technically didn't pull a trigger, and I did it in the name of London, so, you know, I'm a cool guy.
I think our judge was not one of the guys.
You think our judge was not one of the fucking judiciary chanting?
Yeah, because he probably wouldn't have got up there and prosecuted it. Or not prosecuted. He probably wouldn't have got up there and passed judgment afterwards if he was.
I believe he says the line actually that I was here in the stands watching this whole time.
Yeah.
He does say that, yes.
He does say that, so I wonder if he was one of the people going, strong heart, strong heart, strong.
I don't think he was chanting. No,
I don't think so.
He was probably going, oh, golly, this is really distressing, dabbing his forehead kind of thing.
That lady in front of me is putting red fingernail polish on. I thought it was just like that.
Some things in any age.
Hold on, I gotta Google something.
Anytime they remain the same.
You're gonna Google whether or not nail
You
polish
gotta Google
existed at the turn of the 19th century?
When nail polish was invented.
Absolutely
Yeah.
did.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah,
gotta
it's
be
probably
existing
mercury.
At that point.
Yeah, it's probably something incredibly poisonous, you're right.
Yeah, something that was making fingers fall off.
I'm looking.
It was probably just gasoline and they needed a license for it.
Yeah.
History of nail
man.
polish. I mean, yeah, was nail polish invented? Like, yes, but like, were the Victorians using it? Is the question.
Is it Victorian? I thought it was steampunk.
Well,
Jesus
if you'll
Christ.
direct your memory to the queen.
Okay. Queen Vicky?
What's
What
her
was
name?
her name? Yeah.
Oh! Is that
It's like your fucking tokusatsu.
is that why
It's named after who is in charge.
is that why it's Victorian? Because
Yes!
it's Queen Victoria.
Yes,
Okay, why are you yelling at me?
because it's like your tokusatsu.
What do you mean it's like my tokusatsu? What are you talking about?
Like how they named it's this era, it's that era. It was the one who was in
Oh,
charge
the
at the
Showa
time.
era
He's
versus
from all
the
Japan.
Heisei era?
Yes.
That's
So-
all Japan, the Meiji era.
They had. So they did have nail colors of various kinds, which dating back throughout history. However, in the Victorian era, it was considered improper and low class and inappropriate for a woman to paint her nails.
Can I ask a question?
Oh.
Yeah.
Aren't they all named Victoria, therefore it's always the Victorian era?
What?
What?
Aren't all the queens named like Queen Victoria or whatever?
No.
No.
What was the last queen's name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Oh.
No, it was
I'm not
really
British.
just named after her.
So does that mean we were in the Elizabethan era for a lot of while?
The Elizabethan era was actually a different. I mean, yeah, but
There was a. There was technically another queen, but
We're all
yeah.
getting chased in circles here. He's running us around the bush.
my history. my
I
history
open up the
degree.
schools.
I'm not good at history, I'll be honest.
I am.
Cool.
It's all right. We'll get.
Not the dates though. I'm not good at the dates.
So Strongheart did it. Genshin Asogi found out that the professor killings was done by Clint, who turned evil after realizing that the law wasn't enough.
You know what? Actually, I think Clint turned super cool and based.
Yeah, no, Clint might have been
That's the
kind of based.
Well,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
the thing is we gotta.
He
we
was
gotta
kind of
have this.
based.
Yeah, we gotta have this extra layer on top of that. Clint wanted to kill various members of the aristocracy who were corrupt, but he was being manipulated by Strongheart to kill specifically ones that Strongheart wanted out of
Well, the
play,
third victim
right?
onwards. The third and fourth victim
Yes.
was definitely
Yes.
Strongheart's choices. But the first
Right.
two, Clint was like, actually, I'm killing these two.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
the first,
sort
the
of
first
implied
two
that
or
it's,
three were his.
it's
yeah.
just the one that's like the one that's Strongheart, or there's some that people don't know about.
Right. But at the very least, yes, the previous chief justice, chief chief justice was,
Yeah.
was the one that, Strongheart wanted specifically. And yes, presumably he continued to manipulate Clint beyond that afterwards. But that's the one for sure that we know.
He did it with a dog.
His big ass evil hunting dog.
That dog looks super cool in the drawing.
Also, it's really funny. I'm sorry, but it's so fucking funny that the B on the evil bloody collar is not for Baskerville.
It's for Balmung.
It was for Balmung.
Yeah, Balmung, the evil ass fucking dog. What
I mean, they do say
a cool
yes, it's
dog.
B for Baskerville as well, but also
No, that's just
because they're like, oh yeah, well that's the family crest, a big fancy B. Yeah, that's
Barkerville.
for Baskerville, but also it's Balmung.
So-
it works both ways.
the other important note about this situation is Iris reads the notes from this case, and she's able to like write a manuscript that like is pretty close to the actual events of what occurs. So it's like she could have. The entire reason that they didn't want Sherlock didn't want Iris to publish this book is simply because if you publish this, questions will be asked and you'll investigate, and you might find out the truth that Van Zieks is your father and also was the professor. And Mikotoba goes, I summoned my daughter back from Japan because I was there during this case, and I didn't want you to investigate and reveal this to Iris and also blow up British society by unveiling all this information.
Mm-hmm.
I just gripped it and ripped it at like the worst time in the middle of your monologue.
I think at some point we just have to give up on British society and just start telling the truth.
No, Mikotoba does say that. He goes eventually like, I think I'll tell Iris when she's older, but like not right now. She's like 10. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. She's like 10.
You're real. That's real.
Here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sherlock Holmes and Mikotoba investigated this case 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Did they know the entire time that it was Clint Van Zieks? No, because Mikotoba visits...
I think Sholmes did.
I think Sholmes did 100%
I don't know
fair.
if he told Mikotoba, but I think he knew.
I think Sholmes might have known that it was Clint Van Zieks simply because like Genshin Asogi was not defending himself in court because he had that like deal behind the shady deal to get escaped. But Mikotoba didn't know about the shady deal. So that implies that... Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily imply that Mikotoba knew that it was Clint Van Zieks, but it does, like, know that he definitely knew that something shady was going on.
I think he believed that it was not Genshin and that Genshin had been framed. It seems obvious to him.
Yes, that is absolutely something he knew for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He must have pieced together that it was Clint Van Zieks when he saw the briefcase next to the pregnant lady saying big letter Baskerville on it.
The letter Baskerville.
The letter Baskerville. Was that supposed to be the same trunk that is currently in the Sherlock Holmes living room?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I did see that, and I simply went, hey, that bee is there, but that side of the trunk is always facing away from us. Isn't that weird?
It is always facing away from us.
Yep.
I can't believe this entire time we've had a Baskerville trunk in the house, and it belongs to Iris, and there's a lot of notes in there.
There's been a lot of evidence under our nose. Although, again, Rose super genius. They were like, oh, he hid the will somewhere, and I'm immediately like, give me the sword, it's in the sword. And I'm clicking everywhere. And it doesn't let you do it.
Bro, I was fucking biting at that fucking thing until I could open it.
When you get the will out of the sword, if you immediately pause the game and go into the court record to try and examine it, you cannot examine it. It will not allow you to examine that.
Yeah, it's got to let you
and
make you wait until
after
they
you
read
start
it out.
to read it, you're still not allowed to examine it.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
I was very upset. I like to examine my evidence the second I get it.
I know this about you, Rose. You love evidence and you love examining it.
I love to rotate evidence.
You gotta spin it in 3 dimensions to be.
You gotta spin it just to make sure.
Mm-hmm. I gotta click on all of it.
Mikotoba, I don't like that you lied about a way to get Susato back home instead of dealing with the... I understand you made a promise to Genshin about, like, not telling the daughter who her father is, but, like, come on, man. Fucking... Do you know how much train trips are? You know how much it fucking costs to get on a boat, you sicko? It's kind of expensive.
I mean, he was probably paying for it, right?
Great, I'm glad it came out of his pocket, but, like, he could have done something else with that money. You could have bought fish and chips. But also, a very funny line is that at some point when you're cross-examining, fucking Barak goes like, yeah, I talked a lot with Gregson about important stuff. He was like, about what? He goes, where to get the best fish and chips? And I'm like, that makes fucking sense, yeah.
His pockets.
His pockets, yeah.
Everyone's going on about, like, what a great investigator, like, Gregson is. And I'm like, I did not meet this man.
There's a lot of hagiography for Gregson that feels a little undeserved.
A lot of people
I don't know.
like...
He was just kind of a simpering weirdo who was, like, doing his best to look after Gina because he felt kind of bad.
Wait, do you remember that? Alright, this is gonna be a total fucking pull, but do you remember that guy from G-Reco? When Iro showed us the G-Reco movie, and there was that guy who blew a hole in the fucking, like, water
Oh, fuck that guy.
of the
He's,
station.
Don't fucking shoot your guns. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and then he solves it by sacrificing himself. And then for the rest of the show, he goes, "What a great guy that guy was! What
Everyone
a real
was like,
fucking
wow,
hero!"
that dude was such a hero.
No,
Like,
I'm gonna-
you did that.
That guy gives me Gregson vibes. A guy who caused his own problems died, and everyone went, "What a hero!"
Everyone who
Yeah.
like watched G-Reco thinks that was really funny.
Yeah.
Fucking
Uh,
Christ!
We had a good time with that.
I love
Yeah,
Jericho.
watch G-Reco.
I think the moment where I cried was when
Angels deserve to die.
when Angels Deserve to Die. We
Damn.
do we still want to talk about the court case? I was going to talk about the epilogue.
Well, do we have anything else to say? I thought that when the thing was falling on Strongheart, I thought that the scale was gonna fall on his back and impale him, but instead it just
Right.
exploded.
It just exploded in
know,
a cartoon explosion, and then he comes out all charred, going, "Yeah."
The scale has done nothing but disappoint Rose since the beginning.
I know,
So
the scale is really my nemesis here.
It really is.
I mean, here's the thing: we haven't really gotten into like the final moment that like blows Strongheart up in the first place, which is that yes, Queen Victoria.
The
is
Queen
listening
Victoria was
in.
on the other line.
What is there
Iris
to
is having
say?
tea with the Queen, and Sholmes is fucking dancing around as a hologram the whole time.
yeah, I
The
don't want to talk
hologram was
about
a
that, to be
lot.
honest.
I
I don't like the
Yeah,
hologram.
it feels like
No, it is really. It's
I
a little,
understand
mm.
why, right? Logistically, I understand how you come to this conclusion
There's
when
no
you're
other way to
designing it.
stop him. There's only one person who's more powerful.
God.
Yes, exactly. You have to go to the Queen, right? At this point, like, because otherwise, your alternative is doing the like we broadcast it to the entire people of London somehow, right?
We should
And they
have
all
done
ri-
that.
And they all rise up, and then they rip, Strongheart to shreds. Which politically, I think that would be more entertaining
But
than
I-
appealing to the
yeah.
higher
I can
power
see why
of the
Ace
Queen.
Attorney didn't want to put that on screen.
We had a
Yeah, like,
rebellion with Spirit of Justice.
Yeah, but
We
nobody
deserve
got
it.
hurt. Nobody got
I
I know,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
was a milk.
But that wasn't so satisfying because we hated the other guy all the way through that.
Yeah, we
true.
had their milquetoast rebellion last time. Yeah, I mean, yes, it is something I've thought about a lot. Right, is that it sucks in a way that the story's constructed that we have to go to the Queen, and good thing Queen Vicky's so righteous and good, of heart, right?
Or
that
you
she
know
will
what? She
make
maybe
the
she
correct
just didn't like the
decision.
cut of his jib.
Yeah,
That's-
Maybe she was just
in
looking
the
for an
end-
excuse.
That's
In
way
the
more
end, it
believable.
doesn't matter which one. She was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, he's
Yeah.
making me look bad. Get him out of here."
Yeah.
I never liked that blonde little
Right.
bastard anyway.
Yeah.
Like, just
Get
like,
that
oh
fuck outta here."
yikes! I don't like that vibe. I guess
I was looking for
we'll
a
let the
reason to
little Japanese
kick him
guys
out.
get him.
Yeah.
Sick 'em.
So yeah, I mean, yes, I'm not expecting every game that I ever play to to exemplify my politics perfectly or anything like that. But yeah, sometimes I wish that there had been a slightly different way to resolve it. But within the construction of the story, yes, there's only one way to go, and that's up and expose him directly to the Queen at this point, because otherwise he is the highest source of justice now at this point in the land.
Here's my issue with it. Why the fuck was it a hologram? Why couldn't it have just been a radio conversation? What, like, is it not possible?
I mean,
Because they just wanted him to be there at the last, like at the very end, because it's
hear me out.
it's
Hear me the fuck out. We have a scene in which the bunny doll fucking like gets up and starts walking around and lands exactly on the fucking sand, and you hear Sherlock's
Right.
voice come from it, and then you go, "Oh, by the way, I'm with Queen Victoria right now," and she says, "You're fucked." That would have been
Yeah,
more
you hear Queen
preferable
Victoria's voice.
than having
Yeah.
Star Wars ass technology. Like, oh, Queen Victoria, you're my only hope. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's so British, though.
I understand it's very British.
Like, oh,
but like,
we
if-
just have to get this to the Queen.
I understand, but we are in a world where steampunk technology exists. We should not be using CRT holograms with scan lines.
Yeah.
It is anachronistic.
I mean, yes, I agree, right? I agree. I suspect the decision making, right, came down because, it's not as entertaining to just have text boxes saying what people are saying. It's more entertaining to have Sholmes actually appear.
Yeah,
Well,
let
that's
And
him-
then they said, well, how can
let him do a
Sholmes
funny
appear when he's
animation.
not here?
I wish I
so
could
he
go-
could do funny animation, right?
I wish I
You
could
know,
go-
try to catch him, all that stuff.
I wish I could go back in time and pitch Takumi the idea of having the little rabbit dance.
I mean, they already move anyway because they can pinch your ear. and
Exactly.
flail around.
You already
I
have
think the
robot
rabbit
technology.
Doing a
Yeah.
little dance of deduction would be quite charming, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
That's why I'm right and correct.
Yeah, but yes, no, I agree. I think holograms are a little bit of a stretch here for this end bit. The actual mechanics of it.
I'm fairly certain, if I remember correctly, that I did say that when we did that the first time too. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It's insane. It's insane.
You're right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's my only problem with it. Other than that, well, no, I also have an issue with Queen Vicky being here, but also like whatever. We get to kill Strongheart. I don't care who's the reason that I'm holding the sword. I want to hold the sword.
Right.
And he does do a breakdown, and his breakdown does involve the scales of justice flopping over and causing a big explosion. He falls.
He kind of gets two, right? He kind of does his like extended clapping bit,
yeah,
right, where he just starts
Clap,
applauding
clap, clap.
faster and
Clap,
faster and
clap, clap,
faster.
Clap, 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 clap. Yeah.
Which is pretty fun.
was
And then
loud.
yes, and his hair like slowly over the course of the case like becomes more untwirled, right, and kind of a little crazier,
a little eviler.
Unkempt.
And then yes, then he tips over the front, falls down, and then the big scales come tipping over, and they look like they're about to stab him because it's 3D, and then they don't.
Alas.
And then there's an explosion, and then he goes, and puts his hands up in the air again, and another explosion happens behind him, and then he's standing
And then
there like
British
fucking
society collapses just
Looney
as
Tunes
foretold.
ass. Yeah, he's just standing there, Looney Tunes looking ass, like all charred and smoky with like, debris coming off of him, and then he admits to everything.
And then he coughs, and a little dust cloud comes out.
I think that I'm okay with him being dead. I don't think he's the most interesting, like, big bad we've had. Because, well, first of all, there'll always be fucking Von Karma. But also, like, I don't think he even compares to Gantz. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean,
I would agree with that. I think.
He had
he
big
is-
shoes to fill. As an Ace
he's-
Attorney villain, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think he's more of I don't think he's a bad villain necessarily, but he is mostly, to me anyway, more of a story tool, right? As opposed to like a really great villain. He's a perfectly adequate villain, but it is more how his actions like influence the rest of the characters. That's the most interesting part to me, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. He's fine, is basically how I feel about it.
Yeah, pretty much. He's fine.
He's middle of the battle pass character.
Pretty much.
Devastating insult.
Yeah, then we get to have a big dinner back at home.
Yeah.
It was fun.
The same dinner we had the last time.
Well, I'm still hungry.
They only have certain ingredients. They make the same dinner every night.
But this time we have
The same 5-course meal.
pheasant.
Yep, we have this whole elaborate bit where
Mhm.
Mikotoba gets a pheasant all to himself, and Sholmes is feeling really bad about it.
He was a whiny little bitch about it.
I think we should have been allowed to invite Maria Gori to the dinner.
She's a real one. Like, I come out and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be a character. And you know what? She's great. She's on board immediately. She's like, I'm not gonna be like my mom. We open
It's
up dead
really
bodies
good.
to find the truth.
Yeah, they do the old switcheroo, but it's like not bad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she looks like she's gonna be an evil character because everybody else has been like pretty obviously.
And she's like kind of a weird
Designed.
little freakazoid, but like, no, she's
But no,
fine.
She's like, she's conscious. She's thinks for herself. She doesn't just go with what her mom says.
Yeah.
And she makes Strongheart very upset with how much evidence she keeps bringing out.
Oh yeah,
which is
she's
great.
like, of course. The second when you were like, we were like, can you see the records? And she was like, of course. What's the point of keeping them if people don't ever look at them? I was like, no Ace Attorney character has ever just let me look at records.
No one has ever.
Ever.
Real
This is
shit.
the best day.
Yeah.
We go upstairs to privately talk to Mikotoba about heading to Japan with him because we have resolve and we want to fucking choose our own path. And then Mikotoba's hearing all of this, and we're like, oh god, not Mikotoba, fucking Susato's hearing all of this. And well, I guess she is a Mikotoba.
Oh
you know
my
what I
God,
fucking mean.
when she appeared at the top of the stairs, I was just like, oh no.
You've been and yeah, you say like, how long have you been listening? And she's like, well, since you were talking about Iris's dad, and you're like, so the whole time.
Yeah,
The whole fucking thing, huh?
It's really good.
And then we have the fucking dock scene, and that shit did make me tear the hell out. I kind of love the fucking Susato, Asogi, Naruhodo trio. They're, oh my god, I did tear up when Susato was like, "Can I come with you?" And I was like, "Oh, please!"
Yep.
I was glad.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way she wasn't, but yes, the bit of dragging it out where it's like, is she gonna come with me or not? Like, of course, because
Yeah.
Cosmo's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna be a prosecutor now, so I have no need for a defense legal assistant.
Yeah.
She should go with you.
I'm
been
gonna
working
stay
together.
here and guilt trip Van Zeeks a little bit more.
When the voice
Yeah.
acting kicked in, I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna get fucking pull my
Uh-oh.
heartstrings."
Yeah, I was like, oh no, voice acting.
It was
Nice.
I liked the voice
Nice.
acting. It was very good.
Well, it was good because it was like at the end, right? I was just sort of like,
Yeah,
all right.
and
I'm
it
not
was
trying to solve any mysteries. We're just saying bye-bye.
when Asogi is like, "Please find me once again," and then we cross swords.
When you cross swords with your bro.
Dude.
Yeah, very normal.
So real.
Just normal things.
Sometimes a relationship can
Just
be
bro
a
things.
prosecutor, an attorney, and a judicial assistant.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
She may have engaged in trying to put you into what would be termed a thruple.
that's Susato takedown.
OT3.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm a truther. I'll believe in it.
Yeah.
When it works, it works. And then I also did like that fucking Mikotoba and Sherlock Holmes had their own tearful goodbye, like off in the corner.
Yeah.
That's not
the two of them.
We don't get to see that, but like they had one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Right,
see like a
yes.
little bit of their text boxes, but you cannot hear them bleeping because you're hearing it from far
It's a-
away.
Again, just real good touch.
A little attention to detail.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
And then Iris is there, and she's like, "I know who my real daddy is." Well, no, Iris said that her real daddy. This was back in the dinner from last night, but she was like, "Yeah, I know who my real dad is. The one who raised me, Sherlock Holmes." And Sherlock Holmes is like, "I'm a proud adoptive parent. I'm sick with it."
He's like, I'm crying now.
He does
Yeah,
seem
he
to get
does.
genuinely a little bit emotional about it, which was nice.
He thanks
Yeah.
Mikotoba.
The
He does like
facade
he
cracks.
openly says that he's touched, like that he's crying about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
We
because
finally get to see him show some real, genuine emotion for once.
yeah,
You're sick.
and like at the end, the little like the classic Ace Attorney like roll the little credits. Everybody talks about what they're doing. Iris is like,
Mhm.
I gave him a note that said "Thank you, Daddy, for everything," and he cried.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, and doesn't she say something like, "I'm not sure why he got so upset about it,"
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well, she gives him
So-
something else
yeah.
too, and he cries about that. She's like, "Oh, well."
It was very nice to see the like where are they now thing, but wait, let me think about this. They didn't do a where are they now thing at the end of the previous game, did they? Because we didn't. Did they? I don't recall.
They did.
They did.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. I take it back.
Yeah.
just for the baddies in that one, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, just for a few of they have not done them for every single character this time because there's too many characters.
I need to know what Soseki Natsu. Oh wait, no, he's practicing court for Hosonaga. That's so funny.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
her friend was in court, so they let women in court now.
Yeah.
Well, no, fucking Gaspin Payne was like, "You're not supposed to be here. You're a woman," and she goes, "I don't give a fuck. What's good?" And we all go,
Correct
"Okay."
response.
Exactly.
My bad. I love the idea that Soseki Natsume, fictional writer, attorney, is so fucking.
And got women permitted in court.
And he's covered in cats also. Just
Dude,
absolutely covered in little kitty cats.
Those are also his judicial assistants.
Which is a dream.
Soseki Natsume, male feminist. What a hero.
He
They're
really
doing this
truly
still.
was everything.
Yeah.
I love
So yeah, no, it's nice to see everybody, do the little scenes there, and I assume everybody has paid attention to both. We probably talked about it in the first game, but also in the second game here, where they do the walking.
Yeah.
In the secondary credits, and so you get to see like the characters as they are following the path, like grouped up together, and when they leave the path, then they stand aside, that kind of thing. It's all very.
That's an amazing
well
touch. I love that.
Yeah, that definitely got me in the first game too, and it got me again
when
this
Cosmo
time.
doesn't follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because we thought Cosmo was dead.
Yeah.
I do kind of wish that they brought back ghosts for this one.
He is still alive.
Imagine if there was an English medium who brought fucking Cosmo back from the dead.
That would be crazy.
It would have been sick. Oh well. Oh, that's the game, man.
Yeah.
That's the series, man.
We're all attorneys now.
Yep.
We all passed the bar.
You've all passed the bar, yeah.
I think if I was
practice law, and I will.
Hear me out for like a good themed character for an attorney is one that's incredibly hungover, but when he starts drinking, he starts making all the connecting all the dots.
Oh, like a drunken master attorney.
Like drunken master attorney.
Oh, that's fun.
I always thought it'd also be cool for like a prosecutor to be like a programmer, just be like, oh yeah, I used the fucking code. That dude's guilty as hell. I know for sure. There's also like the thing that I like about attorneys and prosecutors is that they can all have bits, and I love the fact that they all have bits. I think more of them needs bits. I really wish that Cosmo did pull out the fucking sword in court like Blackwell did.
Yeah.
Blackwell had spiritual fucking energy, and he used it in court.
He did use it in court.
It was sick. And that dude was...
And he was a weeb.
We like shit on Blackwell a lot, but he was kind of fun.
I love Blackwell. I honestly do think he has a poster of Cosmo Asogi on his wall.
He'd love it.
Not
He'd
Ryunosuke,
be
Cosmo.
so into it.
Yeah. He'd be like, I had to go find the ancestors, the descendants of the Karuma clan to learn the blade. And we're like, the what?
The what?
He's like, no, it was real, guys. You don't understand.
I just remembered that he's best friends with the Soba guy. I forgot. I also love...
a weird little guy.
I love that every prosecutor has their weird friend from the past, and his is like fucking Van Zeeks is a German guy who does science, and then we talked to Cosmo and it was like...
My college roommate.
My college roommate. Okay. It occurs
the last time I was normal at the age of like 16 or whatever.
It occurs to me that the only weird, funny little guy that Cosmo has as a best friend is us. So, like, are we're the weird guy?
We're the weird little guy.
We're definitely the weird little guy for Cosmo.
There's a timeline where we're his Larry. And that's not something I'm prepared to think about.
And that's maybe the timeline we're in.
Hurts.
No, well, yeah, maybe. No, well, yeah. I'm just thinking about a timeline where Cosmo Asogi went to Britain as intended and, like, actually became a lawyer, but also we were there as just, like, a random side character who gets accused of killing a guy once a month.
The thing is, he would have also then been an assassin if everything had worked out.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that didn't happen. That could be said about anything.
What if there was a defense attorney that was also a murderer, killer?
Dude, what?
Assassin dude.
I mean, has that happened before? I don't think so.
We've had a defense attorney who's a killer, most famously in Apollo Justice.
Oh yeah, forgot about him. There's a lot of guys.
Because he was so evil, he had a fucking skull on his hand.
Yeah, true. That was just a birthmark. Weird birthmark.
Kind of crazy.
What a great game. I love Ace Attorney.
It's good. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that y'all have come on this journey with me.
Thanks.
This is fun. I can practice law now.
Yeah.
Me and Rose are... I think it'd be sick if me and Rose were like a prosecutor, defense attorney combo. I don't know who would be the prosecutor, and I don't know who would be the attorney.
I feel like we switch off, like...
Depending on the argument.
Yeah. All my coworkers will be excited to not have to listen to me be like, I gotta go fucking home and play attorney.
Now we're gonna be doing something new. Well, we'll think about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that very soon.
It's Shut the Fuck Up
next
Friday.
episode, we will reveal that. Yes. So, one other thing I did have here. This is mostly fun and games, but when I was doing some research to see, interviews with Takumi about the kind of the end of Great Ace Attorney 2, one interviewer was talking to him. Let's see here. This was from Famitsu in November 2021. And again, this is translated by Ash at Gyakuten Saiban Library. Thank you as always. And the interview at Famitsu says, "What genres would you like to see collaborations with in the future?" Takumi says, "Well, we've had manga, novels, so I guess what's left is kabuki or Hollywood."
Wait, kabuki?
And the interviewer says, "Well, Capcom already has experience with that too." And Takumi then replies, "Well, or perhaps a Bollywood film with the dancing might be fun too. Personally, I think the time setting, clothes, and music really fit with the Takarazuka review, so I'm waiting for that call from Suzuki K." Now, this, of course, was in 2021. Since then, there has already been a Takarazuka review version of Great Ace Attorney. So that musical has happened. The all-female musical has already happened. But I think that's fun that he was waiting for that call at this time. Then the interviewer says, "What challenges would you like to personally take on in the future?" And Takumi says, "Things have changed a lot in these 20 years. Nowadays, anyone can become a creator, and you'll find many games with brand new concepts among the indies. It does feel like in this time and age, it's becoming harder and harder to create a fun game exactly like I want within a big company like Capcom. Of course, that's not just a matter of the company, but it also has to do with what players actually want and changes that naturally occur in time. If I come across a project that gets miraculously born under such circumstances, I'd like to pour all I have into it once again." The interviewer then says, "So what would you do if you were told that you were given 6 months to make any game you wanted, just like how the very first Gyakuten Saiban was made?" Takumi says, "I'd like to make a small game, almost like working on a hobby. A while back, I bought RPG Maker because I wanted to try working on a prototype. But I couldn't even make a villager walk around the way I wanted with the little knowledge that I have, so I gave up. Oh, now that I recall, long ago, when I first started in the industry, I made a mystery game with the Super Famicom version of RPG Maker." "Wow," says the interviewer. "I'd really like to play that."
Sick.
Well, that makes me feel better about not knowing how to fucking use RPG Maker.
It's pretty tough.
So, I mean, yes. So you hear him musing, about a Hollywood film or a Bollywood film. You hear him musing a little bit about what is it like to still make a game within a big company like Capcom. As we now know, I mean, in the last couple of years since this interview was done, he has not left the company yet. He is still employed at Capcom. So hopefully that means he's working on something behind the scenes there. We just don't know what yet. But yes, I would also love to see whatever mystery game Takumi made on the Super Famicom version of RPG Maker way back in the day. I think that would be a really interesting piece of history, but who knows if it even exists anywhere.
It would have been sick.
But yeah, one day Capcom will, that once they already did their Monster Hunter live action movie, and they're doing They've done multiple Resident Evils. They've got another one coming down the pipe. So maybe one day Ace Attorney will finally get that option deal for a Hollywood adaptation. Who knows?
I hope we see a Bollywood Ace Attorney.
That could
It would be
fun.
really entertaining.
I think that'd be.
That would be
I think that'd be
fun.
tight as fuck. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need the energy.
Yeah. Oh my god, I almost don't know what to say. I feel like we've been through so much.
Yeah.
I
Not only have we been friends for years and years, but now we've
Now we've
taken
played
years to go through a
every
whole
Ace
game
Attorney.
series together.
Oh man, what a funny time we've had.
I'm about to tear up a little bit. We went on a whole adventure. We found plenty of meow meows together.
So many meow meows.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you guys got to meow meow with me.
it's pretty fun. And we all
That's
found
truly
our
the
I
joy.
really-
little funny guys.
Yeah, I really hope that now that all the games have been remastered and placed on modern systems, Capcom has no excuse. It's time, Capcom. You can't dig down and remaster anything else. Well, I guess you could talk to Level 5 and try to get Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright remastered.
Doesn't
but,
really need to be remastered though.
Just
I mean, the thing is, you can't buy it legally anymore.
Oh,
is the real
okay,
problem?
well,
unless you buy a used
get
copy
your
somewhere.
shit together, I
But
guess.
it'd be nice to have that. But Level 5's, So yeah, we've talked a little bit about this off and on here. I think I've talked about it on the Let's Play as well. But yes, the question now is Shu Takumi working on a new Ace Attorney, or have they found other people to make more Ace Attorney games? Would Shu Takumi want to work on an Ace Attorney 7 and continue the story directly off of 6? I kind of doubt that he would want to do that at this point. I suspect he would want to do his own thing, and that if he was forced to do another Ace Attorney game, he would want to do a whole new cast, in a whole new setting, much like how Great Ace Attorney was. But he could also be doing something else entirely original. We really just do not know at this point what the plans are for the future of the series or Takumi's, path as a game director, right? So with any luck, we will hopefully hear something within the next year or two about what he's doing and what Capcom are planning to do with the series. This year, 2025, is the 10th anniversary of the release of Great Ace Attorney on the 3DS. So Capcom is going to be doing some promotional stuff, basically just to celebrate. We don't know what that is yet, but I suspect it's probably just going to be merch. But who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised with something else more interesting. But I kind of doubt it. All the other previous anniversary celebrations, like the 10th and 15th Ace Attorney anniversary celebrations, have all been merch and concerts. And again, all those concerts have been Japan only. So I don't think we're quite at the point where the series could be nationwide, or global, excuse me. But I'd love to be proven wrong. Capcom, do it.
Come on, Capcom. We're just like that one meme where you poking it with a stick.
Hey, come on,
Yeah,
do
come on,
something.
Do something.
So, I mean, I understand we've got other stuff happening. Capcom has Monster Hunter coming out soon. By the time you hear this, Monster Hunter will be coming out in just a few days.
Congratulations.
Please.
Monster Hunter Wilds, and maybe they can just cut a little sliver off of that Monster Hunter pie and give some of that budget and funding to Takumi, would be my hope. But yeah, in the meantime, we are going to be doing some other stuff. I know we've teased it for a little bit, and I have talked about it in some other places, just kind of in general terms, but we are going to be doing stuff that is kind of Ace Attorney adjacent, but is not Ace Attorney. So, I know folks have asked if we're going to watch the anime or read the manga and stuff like that. That's not currently in the cards, so please don't get your hopes up for that. And I don't think we're going to our plan is not to go into a new game series.
Gonna be real with y'all, we tried watching the anime when it came out.
Well, I didn't, because I didn't know shit. but
Yeah, I didn't do it.
But yes. But we'll next episode we are going to currently, assuming there's no change in plans, next episode we are going to kind of do a retrospective and cover kind of Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2 and kind of talk about our thoughts and feelings about those games as a whole. Along with currently we have a plan for a guest, assuming that everything works out timing wise. If not, we will just cover those games and then talk about what we're doing next. But either way, what we're doing next will be announced next episode. So please prepare yourself for that. And then we will dive right into that in the upcoming episodes. So the podcast will keep going, and hopefully you will choose to stick around for the ride with us as we do that as well, because I think it'll be pretty cool, and hopefully we'll expand some horizons.
Hang out with us so we don't get lonely.
Yeah. So that's currently the plan for updated Autopsy report. So I think, unless anybody has any final thoughts, that will do it for us this episode.
I feel like I'm going to get emotional.
Quarantine from game one, still the best game. So
what?
I said Corner from game one is still the best song.
Yeah.
Well, we can do that. We can do that in the next one. I'm not emotional because I'm like, well, we got another one though.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get emotional on that one. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see if I do.
We're not leaving.
Okay.
I mean, like, it's like, fuck you, I'll see you all tomorrow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same soup reheated.
Exactly. So, that will do it for us this week, folks. I am going to read a review because we got a new 5-star review on our Apple Podcast page from Mina. They wrote, best podcast ever.
Whoa, hey, hold on now.
Autopsy
Hold up, that's a lot.
Very
That's a,
kind.
whoa.
This is very kind. Yes, updated Autopsy report has filled my 12-hour shifts at the factory with laughter and comfortable company. Listening to these 4 summarize and give their opinions on one of my favorite game series has helped me get through the long days with a smile. I found this podcast 2 weeks ago and have already binged through every episode.
Holy cow.
Now I have something to look forward as new ones come out. I love the show and can't wait to see what they all do next after finishing the Ace Attorney series.
Oh my
Well,
God.
Mina, you won't have to wait too much longer. We are going to announce that soon. And like I said, I hope everybody will join us for that adventure as well. As always, you can keep up with everything that we do via our website, updatedautopsy.report. Has links to all of our social media accounts, podcasts, Let's Plays. Our Let's Plays are done now. Wow. You can watch all of our Let's Plays that we've done.
My Thursdays are free.
Yeah, with Dessy and I playing through the game and Iro in the rotating guest chair. That's all at youtube.com/@Yotsuben. We will be doing some other Let's Plays as well. We have some other visual novels that we're interested in looking at. So occasionally I and some other folks, depending on who's free at the time, will take a look at some other games here and there that kind of fit in the Ace Attorney, ballpark. So there is one that just started as well on there, which is Of the Devil, which is a really cool mystery visual novel starring, what do you know, a defense attorney as in a cyberpunk world. And it's really, really neat. I
recently had a friend recommend it to me, actually, so...
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I don't want to spoil the main conceit of the main character because she has a really interesting twist on being a defense attorney. So if it's something that Ace Attorney has never done, right? So if you want a totally different defense attorney main character who's kind of very different from the usual bumbling fool that we get as our main characters in Ace Attorney, it's really, really neat, and I've really enjoyed my time with it so far. So we're going to try to keep playing through that on the YouTube channel. So check that out. And if you like the games, then obviously check those out and pick them up, because it's always nice to support indie devs that are doing this kind of work and riffing on this genre that we really like. So yeah, you can follow me on all social media at Yotsuben. Dessy, where can people find you?
I'll reveal it. I want to reveal it. I'm Dessy on Blue Sky.
Whoa,
Damn.
whoa!
Were we not supposed to
That's
say
crazy.
I've been saying that if they look really hard, they'll be able to find me.
that? It wasn't that hard.
That was the fucking joke, my dude.
Oh, my bad, my bad. My bad.
Well, Tiago, how about you?
You can find me at Tiago S. Dutra on various social medias, including Blue Sky.
All right.
Yippee!
And Rose.
Oh, that's me. I'm Rose. You can find me on locations like Blue Sky at Rose Nonsense. You can find me on the Green Line shuttle buses, I guess. As usual.
You're lucky.
I'm usually just on the train, sort of. That's like if you're on the MBTA, just look around.
On the train, sort of.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm on the bus.
Half on, half off. Okay.
I'm the queen of a bus line, but I'm not going to tell you which one. Then everyone will know where I live.
I'll be on that bus line soon, too.
Yeah, don't dox yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're gonna find me hanging out at Tiago's new apartment. That's where you're gonna find me.
Oh hell
I'll have a
yeah!
hot dog.
And I'll see everybody in what was it, September?
Yeah. Should we
in
tell
September
them
we're going to hang out.
What?
that we're gonna hang out in September? We already told them, didn't we?
I don't remember. We're going to see my
it's
Chemical
not my
Romance.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Des said it, so I'm saying it. Yeah, me and Des are gonna go see MCR. So
This will be. Hold on. This will be my.
if you hear our voices at Fenway
Fifth time.
Park, don't.
Be cool.
Just be normal.
Don't.
Yeah,
Just
be
don't.
cool about it.
No, you can. I want you to look at me, and I want you to give me a little wave, and then I want you to be cool. If you can figure out which one of us is which, that'll be funny too.
Yeah.
Because Des and I are not big on posting photos and pictures of ourselves.
There is no. I think there is one picture of myself on the internet, and it is the top of. It's like my eyes up,
I have a LinkedIn, so like
and it's old. So
whatever, man.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyway,
if you, if you Google picture of koala, you'll find me
Hey, you're
out there.
gonna find me hanging out at Tiago's new apartment. That's gonna be
Hell yeah!
right down the street
Yeah,
from me, and we're so excited, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get high at Tiago's apartment.
We'll play Magic the Gathering.
Des, you can get high
Yeah.
at both of our apartments because they're
Oh,
right
man.
around the corner from each other.
I can't wait to get high at Rose's and Tiago's apartment.
It's gonna
The
be
dog
nice.
will bark at you. It'll be great.
Yippee!
We'll have a blast. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. We really do appreciate it. And we hope that you will rate and review us on Apple Podcasts with 5 stars. We still have a perfect rating on Apple
Oh my God,
Podcasts.
you guys are
That's
so cool.
right.
Thank
yeah,
God.
you guys
What are
are
you
so
doing?
fucking cool. And if you give us a 5-star review on there, we will read it on air, especially if it's funny. But we've been reading most of them anyway
Yeah,
because they're just so sweet
really
and so
funny.
nice.
Oh, you guys are
You
listening
guys
to
are
us
being-
at work. That's so cute.
I
Work
the
sucks.
fact that I was gonna say that we're making people's shitty work days better. That
All jobs suck.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I had a good one once.
Okay.
Every once in a while you might get
I
lucky.
had a good one for a little while, and then the apocalypse happened.
I do not have.
I had a good one for a while, and then my whole fucking department got dissolved.
I do not have
Yeah.
a dream
Yeah.
job. I do not dream of labor.
Well, it wasn't my dream job, but it was a good job.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
I was happy.
I'm happy.
I remember those halcyon days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember being happy.
I remember that. Yeah.
No.
No, it's fine. I mean, listen, we're really blessed and thrilled that you guys have listened to us and stuck with us for so long.
Yeah.
We know that now that we are through all of Ace Attorney, that like we're taking a risk by doing something that's not video games and not more Ace Attorney. But I really think
We ran
that
out. It's not our fault.
Yeah, exactly. If take it up with Capcom and tell them to make another game, then we'll start playing Ace Attorney again.
Get
Deadass.
Capcom to
Yeah.
acknowledge
End up
us
playing again,
challenge.
more Ace Attorney again. Yeah, excuse me. But yeah, in the meantime, like I said, we'll announce that next time what we're doing. And it will be still kind of be Ace Attorney adjacent. And yeah, hopefully we can get our guest lined up as well. It's been tough scheduling, so as long as that works out, we'll go from there. And we will discuss the entire duology as a whole next time, kind of decompress after finishing every Ace Attorney game, and we hope that you'll join us as we continue this journey. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.